André Roubo is best known for the bench in his book, but did you know he had a frame saw too? Ooh la la. Hey y'all, I'm James Wright and welcome to my shop. This is a Roubo Style Frame saw with a few modifications. Now I made one of these a while ago, and if you don't know what the saw is, go take a look at that. I'll leave a link in the description below. Also I have a video about resawing, which kind of shows you what this can do and where I would often use it. And so I'll leave that in the description below. But the one I made a while ago, I made a stupid mistake on it and I broke it. So it's about time that I make a new one. So today we're making this beast. This was the saw that I made a while ago, and I'm using all the metal parts from it that came from Blackburn Tools. Really love the kit. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But it's time to make a new one. This one was made out of poplar, and the new one is going to be made out of white oak. So basically the exact same design, exact same size, just a new saw altogether. I'm going to start by cross-cutting several boards. This needs to be 1.25 inches thick to start with for the main beams. So I'm going to actually laminate 2 of these together to get the final thickness that I need. So I'm just going to start by flattening out both of the boards, one side on both the boards, so that they can be laminated together. I smear the glue on, basically just dumping it from my gallon, and rub it around with another board to give a nice clean coverage. And then clamp it up. Ended up putting about a dozen or so clamps on this. Don't need a whole lot, but enough to keep it in place so that the glue can set. Once that's done, I'm actually going to trace out the old handle, moving it up a little bit from my old design. You can actually find the pattern for the original beam on Blackburn Tools, not with these pistol grips. Those are something I added, not quite traditional. So to actually shape this out, I'm going to make a whole bunch of relief cuts. Rather than just doing this whole thing with a turning saw, I'm going to be cutting in at a lot of different points. And that way I can come through and just remove the majority of the waste with a mallet. You have to be careful not to, you have to be careful to watch where the grain is running so that you're not busting out more than you plan on. But it is a quick way of removing a lot of material very quickly. Then I'm just going to continue around. I actually didn't use a turning saw on this, well, except for there were 2 spots. Most of it I just came in with the saw at different angles, and then we'd come in with a large chisel and remove the waste. Chisel is a very efficient way of getting rid of a lot of waste in some of these odd and angled locations. It can turn and guide easily, especially with the bevel down. It's just a fun tool to remove a lot of waste quickly. On the handles, I start with the chisel and remove a lot of material, just kind of rounding it and just giving it a general shape as the handle starts to come to life with the chisel. And then I'm going to come in with a rasp and series of files. I'm starting here with a very, very rough rasp, shaping the handle and feeling it, making sure it feels good. Then I'll come in with a smoother rasp and finally with a very, very smooth file to get the shape I want. On the other beam, I'm using the traditional knob handles. This is just the way I like it to look. And I can basically do the exact same thing with a chisel, but it's not going to have the pistol grips on it. On the far beam, I also need to inset this steel plate so that the tension screw actually has something to push against. So I'll mark it out with a marking knife and then clean out most of it with a chisel and let it slide in. So basically just like a bow tie, only a simple rectangular bow tie. A really nice little addition. Next up, I'm going to start working on the 2 spreaders. These are the beams that go between the 2 main beams. And I'm cutting these out of a piece of 5/4 oak that I have. And they're about 1.5 inches by a little bit shy of 1.25 inches. And just clean them up, make them look nice, and I want to put a tenon on the end of each one. The tenon is a 1/2 inch tall, doesn't need to be much, just enough to keep it from sliding around. And then I'll mark it out with the marking gauge and cut in the cheeks and shoulders. I'm actually going to use a dovetail saw on this because they're just so small there's no reason to bring in the large tenon saw for them. Then for the mortises, I have to be very careful because they are cross-grain mortises as opposed to going with the mortises. So I don't want to blow out the side. and I have to be very careful about how I'm actually cleaning them out. But cutting the fibers with a large chisel and then coming into the smaller chisel to remove the waste. With a little bit of practice and some time, this cleans out very easily and very quickly. On those beams, once they're all fitted and ready to go, I just chamfer the edges with a block plane, and they're ready to be used. The last thing I need to actually do on this is some carving, and I love putting carving into tools. It just makes them come to life. In this particular instance, I just hand drew on these swirls, and I'm using a Two Cherries V tool. I'll leave a link to this in the description below, and a lot of my other chisels. I just love them, but that's probably the one I use the most. I'm going to use the same tool on the other end, but on this end I'm actually going to use a pattern of a Celtic knot. This pattern is one I just Googled and actually just typed in Celtic knot and printed it off. And it's a fairly straightforward process. I'm just cutting a V groove all the way along, following the lines. It takes me probably about 5 minutes per side, and really nice carving that adds a lot to the tool. Last thing I need to do is finish it. I add boiled linseed oil and paste wax. I did an entire video on the finishing process, and I love the way it makes this oak just pop. Feels great in the hand and is a fantastic tool. Man, white oak, when it gets that boiled linseed oil, just glows in a way that is phenomenal. Very, very pleased with how this came out. Looking forward to using it in the dresser project here soon. And oh yeah, this is another fun one, and I'm looking forward to using it quite a bit. There you go. Now, I absolutely loved my old one, and worked great, and so I basically kept everything the same. The only difference was that I moved this handle, rather than being back 1 inch, I moved it all the way forward so that the front of the handle is here to support this. And I moved the beams in about a ½ inch, so it has about 1 inch less capacity, but I've never used the full width of it, so that shouldn't be much of a problem. I'm loving the way this came out. The carving on it is, yeah. I love putting a little bit of carving on tools, and that's just fun. I will leave a link to this kit. It's from Blackburn Tools, and it is, in my opinion, one of the best kits out there for frame saws. And he has a bunch of different sizes and things like that. So I'll leave a link to his site below, and you can take a look at that. I'll also leave a link to my carving tools and a few other things that I have. So if you want to see what those are, you can look in the description below. So other than that, I do have the videos of earlier using the old saw and making the old saw, so you might be interested in those. But yeah, another fun tool in the shop. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button and think about sharing it. Also, go ahead and smash that subscribe button right over here. I want to say an incredible thank you to the patrons on Patreon. You guys are the reason this channel is here today. If you'd like to help out with that, you can find more in the link right over here. Also, if you like this video, feel free to check out one of my others. You might find something you like there. And until next time, have a wonderful day.